啊。In the Sangha, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo saranto sujero ye olahuri sanmyao sanputoshe. Wu shang shen shen wei miao fa, bai qian wan jie nan zao yu. Wo jin jian wan de shou chi, yuan jie ru lai zhen shi yi. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in hundreds of thousands of millions of eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning. Venerable Master, Dhamma friends, and welcome to our Sutra lecture tonight. We're here in Berkeley, California. Today is Saturday, December 21st, and we are going to be looking into the 10 Grounds chapter of the Flower Garland Sutra. So please, if you will, turn to the front cover of your sutra text right here, and we'll recite the name of the sutra and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Hua Yin Ji Hua Yin Hai Hui Fo Pu Sa Na Da Fang Guang Fo Hua Yin Ji Hua Yin Hai Hui Fo Pu Sa Na Da Fang Guang Fo Hua Yin Ji Hua Yin Hai Hui Fo Pu Sa Na Da Fang Guang Fo Hua Yin Ji Hua Yin Hai Hui Fo Pu Sa Na Da Fang Guang Fo Hua Yin Ji Hua Yin Hai Hui Fo Pu Sa Na Mo Da Fang Fo Hua Yin Ji Hua Yin Hai Hui Fo Pu Sa Na Mo Da Fang Fo Hua Yin Ji Hua Yin Hai Hui Fo Pu Sa. Alan, we only have one monk tonight, so you can squeeze over, and Tam can sit in his good old seat. We miss you when you're not there in the corner, Tam, so you can come on down, anchor the monastery. Everybody can sit up front. Please turn to page 42 and 43. We're down at the next to last line at the bottom in the Chinese. 名为方便善巧者，是 next to last line. Okay. Okay, I'll give you a line and you give it back. 名为方便善巧者，能随事行故。名为无厌足者，善及福德故。Over to the right in the English. Let's read together one skilled in expedience. He is called one skilled in expedience because he is able to accord with the practices of the world. He is called one without fatigue because he amasses blessings and virtue. Okay, we'll stop there. Okay. We're in the middle of 20 names that the Bodhisattva has on the fifth ground. The Bodhisattva is an awakened being who is good at coming out of stillness and samadhi to do things in the world. So this is not a hermit. This is not a someone who has retreated from the world. That period is over in this Bodhisattva's life. They started there. They spent a lot of time meditating, sitting still, but at a certain point, that stillness was sufficient so they could start to act. They could move now, and not lose the benefits of the stillness. So, the fifth ground is a real turning point in the life of the Bodhisattva and in the activities of the Bodhisattva. His job profile changes at the fifth stage. From first to the fourth, and you say through the fifth, the Bodhisattva is trying to slow down. He's trying to get quieter. And at the fifth stage, because he has managed samadhi, stillness, he can, at this point, go into action, and it's not different from the stillness. She never leaves that concentration in the midst of action. And let me tell you, that's hard to do. It's hard to do. But this is the point. This is the stage where the Bodhisattva can do that. And so he has all these names, and all these names, if you could see a little movie connected to each one of these names, you'd see the Bodhisattva going off on these careers, these jobs, these projects, this work, and she would become known for those things. And this particular line is really key. What is it? 名为方便善巧者, expedient or skillful and clever. Clever, not like tricky clever, but good clever, meaning good at. Masterful, mastery. If you've looked at I had a watch that had a transparent back. It was a really nice watch, and the back was plexiglass or something, so that you could see the workings of the watch and the gears turning. And you know that once it was fashioned that way, it's going to do that its whole life. It's going to be able to make those precise movements as long as the watch exists, and do it so carefully, so perfectly, that when we look at it, the time is divided exactly right and never is off by even a little bit for the life of the watch. That's this shanqiao. It's crafted well crafted. So this bodhisattva is good at knowing what will work in the world and doing it just right, so that when people like us see this bodhisattva at work, we go for it, we take it, we accept it, we're convinced by it. That's what it means to be skilled in expedient means, able to set this in motion so that result happens. That's what's clever. I remember watching Jason Kidd set up a play on the basketball court. Jason Kidd is our local Oakland product. He was an Oakland hardcourt basketball player who then went on to Cal, and he was so good as a college student that he left Cal early. They drafted him right out of college. I think maybe that's freshman year or second year. Jason Kidd led the NBA. Now he's a coach. He's now retired. He's coaching. But they said that he had a special ability with vision, that he was what you call a point guard. He started the ball at that end of the court coming this way, and his vision was so good that with a single look he could take in all the other four members of his team and know where the play was going. And he was the image that I had that is shan qiao fang bian. What was so good was Jason Kidd could throw the ball into empty space and know that his teammate was going to connect with the ball at point X and then gently bank it up into the basket for a layup. And if you saw him, you think, why is he throwing the ball into space? But no, there was another vector, which was the hands of his leaping teammate, the center, who grabbed it and just popped it in. And that was like, wow, how did he pick that vector out, that spot X in air that was going to connect in a matter of seconds? But not now. There's nobody there now, and the ball is thrown away into the emptiness, and whoop, there's a pair of hands, 2 points. It's like, wow, that was clever. And I always admired that ability to hold these different moving forces in mind so that when the time came, another result was achieved. And that's a clever, expedient means. I mean, Jason Kidd can't walk down the court and drop the ball into the basket. He has to set these variables in motion so that the desired result happens. And that's what a clever, skillful, clever, expedient means can do. I also watched our teacher, Master Xuanhua, who would, he had a way of motivating students to do things that ordinarily we preferred to stay in stasis. We preferred to stay inert. You know, it's kind of like the easiest path is to do nothing at all, called being lazy, right? Or simply not understanding what you are capable of doing. And Master Hua, by an expression or a sound or just he had a way of kind of changing his shape. He would just kind of puff up, and you would be moved to do something, often, scared into doing it, or cajoled into doing it, or somehow inspired into doing it. But it would just be subtle changes of his features, or a frown, or a scowl, or a smile, and it would hook your heart, and you just find yourself in motion without even realizing that you had actually agreed to do something that you never would have thought you could have done. And sure enough, it would happen, and it would seem like it happened all by itself, but it was the teacher's just subtle expression change. And what a wonderful skill that is. And it was an example of wait, right? Wait. Doing something without anything being done. It's dynamic inaction, non-action, doing without anything being done. And if you ask, what did the teacher do to force you to do that? Nothing at all. It's just a raised eyebrow. But he knew exactly how to get your heart to vision. You almost kind of felt like he might have put the picture in your mind. And sure enough, that was what you needed to do. Oh, my goodness, how did you manage to accomplish that? I don't know. It just seemed to kind of happen by itself. So that's skillful doing. So he is able to accord with the practices of the world. What does that mean, to accord with the practices of the world? It means you understand the way people think. And you have so many choices in putting something into action that you flow along with what seems to be so effortless and natural, and yet the result is always more than you could have done on your own. Or it was gooder than you could have done on your own. It was wholesomer. These are not words, right? But you understand. Master Hua's way of, or the Bodhisattva's way of motivating you, took you to goodness, took you into a level of virtue that I'm convinced would not have been possible without his intervention, without his getting into the process somehow. And yet it seemed so natural. It seemed like, well, this is just the way it always would have been anyway, right? Well, not, but to be so good, to accord with the practices of the world, it's kind of magic? No, it's skill. It's skillful wisdom. It's 智慧方便, the expedience of wisdom. I have a story coming up later on about how that manifested in my awareness, and I'll tell you when I get there. All right, I'll just remember. Okay, what else? 名为无厌足者，善积福德故. He is known, they call him what? Somebody who never gets fed up. Never, this is 无厌足, means he never satiated. Why? Not because he well amasses. Our translation has put a red line through well as an adverb. We don't well anything. It means to be good at, is what we say. You're skillful, you're good at, you can do it. You're good at 积福德, you can put together a bank account of blessings and virtue. Now, we could talk the rest of tonight about those two words, 福 and 德. They're power words in Buddhism and in spiritual practice. The 福 is, Master Hua would say, you amass, you gather, you collect blessings by making other people happy. Stop. Okay. What in the world? Shifu, how do you get blessings? Make other people happy. Brief, to the point, pithy answer. Thinking about it, it's profound, because what it means is you don't exclusively make yourself happy. The motive for action in this description is not, I want to be happy, pursuit of happiness. Instead, the motive expands to say, I want to find ways to make other people happy, often not realizing that by doing that, you yourself get happy. Or the happiness you gain by making other people happy lasts longer than the happiness you would get if you were only out to make yourself happy. That's so much not taught in popular culture. Popular culture is grab for all the gusto that you can get. I'm loving it. Out of my way. Satisfy me now, or get out of my way. And if you don't make me happy, somebody better answer. I'll return it, I'll exchange it for a better one, I'll call customer service until I'm satisfied. Right? We are a culture that somehow defines these six senses as the end, that this is it. Never mind pleasing your spouse. No, it just wasn't working. I wasn't good with it, so we separated. It's entirely about my personal gratification now. And as a result, we're profoundly diseased as a culture. It's not working. So just that shift to us, away from me, or to other instead of own, just to say, no, the way that you get blessings is by making other people happy. Just that little shift from becoming givers and sharers and givers instead of takers and owners, we would put down roots in real principle as a culture. So, just to say, this bodhisattva is never fed up because his blessings and wisdom grow and grow and grow as he helps other people out, as he makes their satisfaction, their well-being central to his own well-being. When you see somebody else in need and you're able to help, fatigue goes away. There's no sense of, oh, you're almost happy, I'll quit now, right? The mom leaves her child hungry and goes on to entertain herself. Nope, the mom feeds her child, and then she moves on to her own affairs. So that's the bodhisattva's attitude. It's very maternal, very nurturing. So we have to turn the page for the next Chinese. The English is back on 43, but we'll turn over for the Chinese. 名谓不修习者常求智慧故. Called one who does not rest because she constantly seeks wisdom. It's a pair with the next one. 名谓不疲倦者极大慈悲故. She is called one who doesn't... Let's see here. Oh, that line is repeated. Okay, we got two lines in the same. He is called one who does not tire because she amasses great kindness and compassion. So we need to, our text team needs to see that repeated line there. Okay, wisdom and compassion are a pair, just the way wisdoms and blessings are a pair. Now, I was going to distinguish fu and de, and I did fu, but I didn't do de. Fu is blessings. How do you get blessings, Shifu? You make other people happy. How do you cultivate virtue, Shifu? Answer was, you have to distinguish. There's virtue that comes from cultivation, you're cultivating your own nature, the virtue of your own inherent nature, 自性德. And that comes when you get rid of things that cover that nature through cultivation. Okay, it's hard work to let go of greed. It's hard work to overcome fear. It's really difficult to say no to your self that feels it has been slighted, to let go of fame and face. To say no to face in a situation where face is at risk, that's really hard. Shame and honor cultures don't reward that. Somebody talks badly about the Wang clan, your clan, you don't take that insult lightly. In fact, many of the movies that come out of Asia have to do with vengeance. The plot turns entirely on 报仇! You know, I will honor you, father, you know, for the shame to our clan. My goodness, not only Asia, but Dr. Akpinar, our beloved chancellor, tells about her native Croatian culture, where slights that happen, well, not a slight, a village got wiped out, right? But a massacre that happened in the 14th century has not been avenged or forgotten. Still burning, right? So, in our culture, we have the Hatfields and the Coys, two families that grew up, I guess it's northern Georgia. Where are the Hatfields and the Coys? West Virginia? They're in West Virginia. Still fighting. Not settled yet. So it's not east or west. It's ancient or modern. It's called shame and honor cultures. And it very much is home in the Mediterranean. It's home in North Africa. It's home in China. Wherever that civilization spread, you do not allow dishonor to go unavenged. There are stories in China, you know, my grandfather cannot rest in peace, although he's been dead for 50 years, until I go kill someone. And then finally, grandfather can be, you know, like, oh, that's deep. And it's bloody, and it's brutal, but that's, you know. And honor to one honors the entire clan. So, once the emperor is overthrown, how many layers of the family are killed? Because, for fear, based on the shame and honor culture, that the new incoming regime will fear reprisal and will come and wipe you out, some third cousin or grandchild. So they go deep into the family and wipe them all out so that you're getting rid of that entire threat from the clan, from the Li clan. It's deep. It's really, really deep. So, the bodhisattva looks into that and says, okay, which part of my body is the Li clan? My teeth? My eyeballs? My sinews? The saliva in my mouth? Where is just exactly what is identified with Li? What could it be? My next breath? The last breath? I can't find it. You look and look and look and look. You can't find anything in your physical body that corresponds to any surname whatsoever. So, if you go out and kill to avenge that slight, guess what? Now you have something that belongs to the Li clan, which is bad karma, that will call back more killing and more killing and more, and it never ends. So once you start poking around in there, you go, my goodness, this is profound. Can I wait? Can I let it go? How hard is that? To say, nope, I don't have to. Nope, I don't have to. So, here I am at the Graduate Theological Union teaching a course called With God on Our Side. It was the first course that I initiated completely from, well, actually the second course. And it was about exploring the amazing contradiction where both sides of a war feel that God is on their side. Right? Who goes to war thinking that God's on their side? You're going to go fight if you know that there's divine protection coming to the enemy? You're going to be fighting not only that guy, but God too? No, everybody thinks God's on our side, right? Don't they? Guess what? Contradiction. Two opposing statements, both of which cannot be true at the same time. Trouble. Okay, I looked into that. So, what does it take to say, I'll let it go? Okay, as soon as I announced that class and started talking about it, came up, pop. It was just a couple days into the planning of that class where, for the first time, somebody came up to me and said, okay, you talk big. Ready? Here it comes. What if somebody took a butcher knife to your grandmother? Would you fight? Right? And I set it up that way, like in quotes. Why? That is the knee-jerk response to anybody who says, pacifist. I don't kill. Right? If you publicly say, I don't kill, one of the stock responses that comes up in people's minds right away is, I'll bet there's a situation where you'll kill. Let me test you. Because why? I think you're a hypocrite. That's the idea. You don't really mean it. You too, in other words, human nature kills. In other words, shame and honor are default. That's the standard, right? So look into it. Okay. For someone who hasn't thought about it much, if someone threatens bodily harm to somebody you are sworn to protect, that's a big question. Then the challenge arises. What would you do? What do you do there in that situation? Good question, all right? So, I'll pose that to everybody. What do you do when something you value is threatened with grievous harm? Good question. Okay. So my response when the question came up, hey, you say you say you wouldn't kill. What if somebody took a butcher knife to your grandmother? I said, okay, let's stop. A good question. Let me see now. The last time I heard of any grandmothers being chopped with a butcher knife, I think, was Jack the Ripper, and that was in, 18th century England. For the last 200 years, I actually haven't heard of anybody's grandmother being threatened. So I would say that's a hypothetical question, right? And I'll give you a hypothetical answer. I don't know. What would I do when somebody took a butcher knife to my grandmother? I have no clue. However, I'm glad you raised the question because you're asking me something different. You're saying, do I commit to nonviolence? My answer to you is, every day when I nourish my body, I am very clear and I take great pains to ensure that no harm comes to any single creature so that I can nourish my body. How about you? Are you a vegetarian? Or do you engage in the chain of killing and harming every meal where you eat the flesh of other living creatures? Well, what does that have to do with your not being everything? You want to know about a commitment. You're asking me, am I committed to nonviolence? Yeah, I practice nonviolence by not eating living things. Start there. Get real! Don't give me these hypothetical stupid questions. My grandmother and a butcher knife. What about the meat that you eat every single damn day that you feed your body? Come on, it's like, well, so like, yeah, okay. That's a hypothetical question. Mine is a real commitment to non-killing. Now, unfortunately, neither one of my grandmothers are still alive, so I won't be able to test out your hypothesis. But I think more likely than my mother getting chopped with a butcher knife is somebody I know getting offed with an assault rifle in a shopping mall. That's a real, possibility in America these days. So, and that has to do with karma. But the question is, here's the question, have I looked deeply into the karmic conditions behind violence? And if so, somebody dishonors me, somebody threatens my name, my family honor, what is the appropriate response? What should I do given that situation? Would I have the presence of mind and the courage of my convictions to allow an insult to go unanswered? To let it go? That's a real question. And if you can, if somebody says, "Yo mama," ... and slanders your mama in any of the ways that the popular culture, that's pretty much a ready button. Somebody says something about your mama, and most folks make a fist right away, right? Or call friends in to off them. So if you hear that, what are your responses? Master Hua pointed to this over and over again as real gongfu. This is real skill. And he would say things like, he said, you will hear people slandering your teacher. You will hear people saying that your teacher is, and he would list the things that Master Hua would be called. And he would say, if you defend me, immediately on the spot, you are no longer my disciple. If you get into a fight to defend me, he said, I will disown you because you are not following instructions. If you hear somebody say bad things about me, he said, bow to them. Say thank you because they are hoping I will improve. They want me to be better. That's why they would bother to say anything bad about my behavior. So you should bow to them and thank them for taking the time and concern out of their busy lives to make me better. And you go, I never thought of that. He would say, you know what you do if somebody's slandering you? You simply say, they are speaking Greek and I don't understand Greek. They are speaking California Blue Jay and I don't speak California Blue Jay. So he said, just be patient. Patience under insult. Ren ru bo lo mi, right? Patience under insult. He said that is spiritual skill. And you hear that and think, man, that would be hard to take. And the chances of that happening are about 100 times greater than the chances of anybody taking a butcher knife to my grandmother. Hypothetical, right? So anyway, I loved it. It was just a few days after I announced the class that knee-jerk challenge came out right away. And when I heard it, it was like, gee, people really do feel that it's human nature's fundamental response when insulted or threatened to strike back. So when I hear that, am I naive? Maybe I should answer that question, to my own satisfaction. How difficult it is to not strike back. How hard it is. And here is our bodhisattva who says, where am I? Let's see. Here we go. He is 不修习者常求智慧，不疲倦者极大慈悲. This bodhisattva is, I know, I was back on the, that was where I was. The bodhisattva is cultivating the virtue. How does he do that? She is removing the coverings off her nature. 自性的 virtues of your nature. If you can be patient under insult, you are what? You are assaulting your pride. You're taking a chunk out of your pride. That's hard. You are humiliating yourself in the best possible way. And man, it is rare to find anybody in the world who will say that's a good idea. Except what? The Bible, right? The Holy Quran, right? Patanjali's yoga aphorisms, the Vedas, all say that pride is a big, big problem. When pride happens, you will fall. Goeth before a fall means it precedes a fall. As soon as you're proud, you're about to learn a lesson, a hard one. If you can uproot that pride by giving your ego a swift kick, by letting people insult you, then it's like, wow. And the freedom that comes from not catching fire when somebody says something bad about you. Boy, most of us get upset if we hear the possibility that somebody said something that might have some way and, said something about. Third hand, we still kind of get our hackles up. It's tough. It's really tough to be patient in situations like that. So that's cultivating 自性德. Now, there's other kinds of de. There's the virtue that comes from making offerings, for example, where you support a monastery, for example, with food, drink, clothes, and shelter, and medicine. Those are the 4 constant offerings that are sufficient to keep your life going. And if you have a community of monastics, renunciates, mendicants, who live on the goodwill offerings of others, there's a chance to plant those kinds of blessings and virtue. So this bodhisattva is doing that. They're good at amassing blessings and virtue. So as you see, these 2 terms, fu and de, could keep us going for hours and hours, talking about various kinds of planting blessings and cultivating virtue and the distinctions between them. To make it even more complicated, fu, de, gong, gongde, merit. So what's the difference between blessings, virtue, and merit? And that would be, because that word isn't occurring in this text, I'm going to go past that for a minute and let that emerge naturally from when it does in the text by itself. So, let me point to something that these lines give us. We just heard, if we could go back to page 40 and 41. Back to 42, 43, right? There are 2 pairs of things that bodhisattvas want to accomplish. Both of them begin with wisdom, but one pair is wisdom and blessings. One pair is wisdom and compassion. And you'll hear both. You'll hear these come up a lot in the sutras and in our teachers' explanations of the sutras. And they're different. The Buddha is said to be perfect in 2 ways. Perfect in wisdom, perfect in blessings. That's the thing about the Buddha that's different from us. We have, ordinary folks like us, have a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of blessings, and kind of comes and goes. Sometimes we're more insightful than others. Sometimes things work out better than other times, and seems to go like that year was not a good year, lots of obstacles. This year, on the other hand, big accomplishment, right? So wisdom and blessings. The wisdom lets you see through the surface into what's really going on. The blessings are a quality that kind of helps things work out good, work out for the best. So that's a pair. The Buddha has taken those qualities to the nth degree, to the ultimate point. Ultimately wise, ultimately blessed, full of those good qualities. That's what makes the Buddha different from us. He's called the doubly perfected one who is worthy of honor. Liang Zuzun, right. Not to be confused with the two-footed wise one. There's a very funny bilingual pun among scholars where they saw Liang Zuzun, two zu in Chinese is both feet, like feet on the legs, and perfect, complete. And early scholars said, oh, he is the perfect one among the bipeds. So among the two-legged ones, he's got a lot of blessing. No. It's the other side of the zu. He's doubly perfected, wisdom and blessing. Okay, so that's one of these pairs. Over here, the Buddha, it says, has two adornments, two decorations, two things that make him bright and shiny. What is it? Wisdom, again, and compassion. And again, it's this way. Wisdom sees through this sense of me being separate and broken from everybody else. And compassion understands that deeper connection that makes me identical with everyone else. So the two, if you have the wisdom that sees totally through the ego and its tricks, then what do you notice? Oh, earth, air, fire, and water, the same as all people who've ever lived and who will live, all beings together. Furthermore, there's something inside that earth, air, fire, and water that's identical, that nature, okay, the Buddha nature. So wisdom and compassion, they say, are a pair of beautiful things that a Buddha and a bodhisattva can have to perfection. So the Buddha is known as one doubly perfect in wisdom and blessings, because he not only cultivated insight, but he also helped people out, right? Wisdom sees clearly. Blessings helps other people. The Buddha did both of those, and that's why he became the Buddha. But once he became a Buddha, the wisdom that he gained, once that ego, once the me is like let go of, and you're not striving for me and my clan and my name and my profit, then you say, well, what's the point of that? It's so empty. You say, what about benefiting everybody? What about advancing humanity and all beings? That's compassion. So wisdom and compassion. Wisdom sees through the shell of the ego. Compassion moves all beings together entirely. Tong ti da bei, one body. Unity in substance, great compassion. So wisdom is kind of the pivot on both of those. The blessings and wisdom, the compassion and wisdom. You see both of those, and I thought until somebody points that out, it might be kind of murky, like shifting around. It's not. They're very different, but they hinge on wisdom, and they're kind of like wings. Bird. So how we doing? How's your Christmas shopping? Anybody go out today and try to handle retail on the 21st, Saturday, 22nd's gone, it's a Sunday, online merchants going nuts today, traffic going nuts today. Anybody go to a mall and try to buck the crowds? Whew. Wow. Intense. Got to get that bargain. Still got some presents to buy. Does everybody know the animator who used to work for the Chronicle? I guess he still does. Andrew Fiore. He's a North Bay guy, Fiore. He's an animator. He does these really simple kind of hand-drawn 2D animations with a political slant. He won a Pulitzer. Very humorous man. And today's was rebranding Jesus. They've decided that Jesus is fundamentally a commercial entity anymore. And they have branded Jesus so that it's good to make money. And Jesus blesses the rich, exclusively. And so it's all tongue-in-cheek, but you realize behind it is there's a lot of ignorance, a lot of confusion about Christmas as a time for merchants to it's the busiest time to make money. If you don't make money over the Christmas season, you're going to be in the red the rest of the year, and that's the purpose, that's the point. So I'm told that in Taiwan has gone nuts for Christmas. That in every hotel, in every restaurant, there is a huge Christmas tree. In Taipei, I kid you not, in Taipei, all the bus drivers are wearing Santa Claus suits. All the city bus drivers, the buses are made up Christmas decoration. The bus drivers are wearing, can you imagine if they did that, and if AC Transit, everybody, like the Jews and the atheists would be going, wait a minute, take that off. I don't want to ride a bus with a Santa, is that a Christian holiday? I feel that I would like to ask, I'm protesting AC Transit, Don't put Santa Claus behind the wheel, Taiwan has gone nuts over Christmas. It has become, and fundamentally non-Christian culture. Why? I don't think it's for the merchants. I think it's the spirit of Christmas. Enough Taiwanese have gone to grad school in America to carry the culture back to Taiwan when they go home, the reverse brain drain. And there's something joyful about it. There's a good side of this, which is the lights and the deck the halls and joy to the world. It doesn't have to be tied to Jesus' birthday, which is a matter of great debate to begin with. Never mind, we won't go there for fear that the Tea Party will accuse us of trying to kill Christmas. Right? So how funny. Why have the Taiwan... I don't know about Malaysia. Maybe Malaysia the same. Is Kuala Lumpur decked the halls? Yeah, I'm sure. Tokyo is probably like nuts. Taiwan is fundamentally a Buddhist country, by and large. I mean, not entirely at all. It's also Taoist. It's also Yiguan Dao and etc. Mazu. But there is no organic Christian root that would spontaneously create a Christmas culture based in adoration of the Magi, Jesus Christ is born today. Christ the Lord is born today. Christ the Lord is born. It's like, no, it's we love the lights and the trees and the gifts and Santa Claus. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that, but it is pervasive when the bus drivers are wearing Santa Claus suits. Holy mackerel. So, in this country, it's getting a little desperate that you cash in on Christmas. And there's this wish to bring it back to its original roots. But it is the truth that Santa Claus was invented by a merchant, by an advertiser. Santa Claus, Father Christmas, Père Noël, came from merchants. He was a creation of the marketplace. That's okay, Santa Claus. Kris Kringle, But boy, oh boy, it's that time of year. I like New Year's. I like Lunar New Year's, the way it's done. I know Taiwan and I know in Vietnam it's done that way. Why? Because there's actually a thing there. You can tie it to an astronomical event, right? We've gone around the sun once, and the moon has gone around the earth 12 times, 30 days at a time. And you come back and it's, things are over, things begin again. Tomorrow is the solstice. Tomorrow is an event. There's an actual thing happening tomorrow in space. And there's a root there, although it's not earth root, it's air root. But it's perception. It's not that the sun went anywhere. It's our attitude towards the sun. We are at our furthest distance from the sun on the winter solstice. And tomorrow, daylight hours are the shortest. The night hours are the longest of any day in the year. 6 months from now, it's the summer solstice, right? And in the lunar calendar, if you look tomorrow in the lunar calendar, what is it? 冬至, right? 冬天到了, 冬至. Winter has arrived. 6 months from now, 夏至, right? Summer has arrived. The longest, the opposite is true, because here's the earth, here's the sun, and we're over here. We're getting all the light. Today, we're up here. Tomorrow, we're up there. So we get the least amount of light. Perceptually, we just see it that way. Nothing has changed. It's just our orientation to it, which says a lot about cultivation. Where did my wisdom go when I made that bad choice? Well, your wisdom hadn't gone anywhere. It's just that your orientation to it there was something in the way, or you were at your winter solstice for wisdom, right? You were farthest away from your own. Well, that's my reason. You understand, Mom? My wisdom was at its solstice point, Mom. So there's a reason for why I did that. So you're grounded. Right? Okay, so my goodness, we're at that time of the year, and for something that's supposed to be joyful, sometimes it seems awfully afflicted, getting all this stuff straight for Christmas, especially when you mix it up with alcohol and parties and everybody happy. The music is wonderful. Wow, Christmas carols are so great. So our bodhisattva doesn't rest because he's always looking for wisdom. He doesn't get tired because he's gathering kindness and compassion. So he's going to have those two adornments of bei and zhi. Also, zhi, fu zhi. Yes. Moving on down here. 名为为他勤修者，欲令一切众生入涅槃故. He is called one who cultivates diligently for the sake of others because he wants to make possible their entry into nirvana. The goal of the bodhisattva is to get everybody to Buddhahood. So he is working hard to cultivate for them. All right. If I were to give you on the quiz, trace the link between my diligent cultivation and your entering nirvana, prove it, show me the graph, map it out. What are the causal factors behind my diligent cultivation and your entering nirvana? That would be a challenge. Fed is hoping I'm not going to call on him and ask him his answer to that question. So I won't. Oh, whew. However, I will ask, no, I'm kidding. What is I thought karma was a personal matter. How could this cultivation bring about that result? Sarah, what's your best shot? Take a shot at it. Can you trace?
So,
Start over. You said
well, the
example?
person, there's two people, right, you're talking about. So the
Right.
person who's cultivating very well is leading by example. And, as
Yep.
they cultivate, they exude liberation, which is going to be inspiring to people. And
then
then
two-
also when they talk, make lectures, then it's very inspiring to help other people cultivate the way and eventually realize nirvana.
Great.
I know your lectures always make me want to cultivate.
Yay! We'll give her extra points for that one. Okay, so personal example and inspirational words. Okay? I'll accept those two. Who else? Nam. What would you say? What is the connection? Okay, here's somebody who says, I'm going to work really hard because they got to enter nirvana. In between, there's a lot of empty space. What's going on? Is it just a pipe dream? Is it fantasy, or can it happen? Can something that you do with hard work, what does he say? He says, diligently cultivates for the sake of others. Can that deliver the goods over there? And if so, is there a mechanism, or what? How does it work? The answer could be, I believe it's true, Dharma Master. So, faith. Okay, faith. That's a good answer. So. But you are a hands-on guy. You're a materials guy. How do you get in there and make it happen? I think it's not fantasy. There's something's happening here. You can meditate on it and give us an answer next week if you want. So, what would you say? What's your best, just your quick understanding? How does it work?
I think everything have to have a affinitives.
Affinity.
Affinitives.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why you are here, why we are here, and to help us, to move forward, maybe because of the past that your vow and our connections to meet you in the past, and so therefore, we are continue on that path.
Wow. Affinities and vows. Power. Those are powerful items. And, okay, that's great. Good answer. Those are both good answers. If we were to, let's say, I'm writing a book on beyond meditation. What exists in Buddhism beyond meditation? Those are two words that you could write a chapter on. Affinities and vows. Way beyond meditation. Why do some people wind up in Zen? Why do other people go to Soka Gakkai and Nam-myoho Renge Kyo? Why do some people follow this teacher who's leading them off a cliff to do bad stuff and they follow? Why is this teacher, without advertising, able to gather good-hearted folks, affinities? And if you ask Master Hua, people would say, why take refuge with this teacher? He would say, they say my vows are the best. Those are power words and could fill in that gap between diligent cultivation and influencing to enter nirvana. Fede, you want to take a crack at it? Not? Okay. I just thought if I mention your name and then didn't call on you, that'd be teasing you. Can you fill in the gap? Any arrows and dotted lines or circles we can draw?
So much has been said already. I don't know.
So over here, diligent cultivation, right? And he wishes to make it possible for all beings to enter nirvana. There seems to be a lot of white space between this action and that result. What's the mechanism?
I'm not sure what to add to Nam and Sarah, actually. I think they pin it down quite a bit. I think one metaphor that comes to mind is the metaphor of light. Kind of looking at the Christmas tree with the little lights, and they like when someone cultivates really hard, that is kind of a light that illuminates and also draws in.
Okay. When somebody cultivates hard, there is light, even if it's light, small and blinking, and it attracts attention. Good, thank you. Sarah had her hand up again.
Because, I mean, I'm definitely not talking to my understanding.
Okay.
But, we're empty and living beings are ultimately empty. So there's got to be some deeper interaction, interdependence there that we can't necessarily see day to day.
Okay. Sarah's answer went a level deeper. She said, from one point of view, we're empty and, quote, living beings are also empty. And so the interaction in there is somehow there's... Okay. Okay, because we are interdependent, there is a possibility for connection. Now we're going at a level deeper. And, Yuanlin, I just named you out of space. Do you want to... You're busy, you're working hard, I won't bother you, right? Oh, what do you have? Do you have anybody coming up with something? Online? Yeah, please. What do you think?
I guess by cultivating diligently, hopefully one is, afflicting others less and entangling them in, troublesome karma less. So that's one potential way in which he aids their own path.
Yeah.
And the second way could be that just by facilitating in very practical ways, like lay people making offerings to the sangha, and, the sangha supporting the lay community. That's also very very practical ways.
Beautiful. Okay, so the first way is, this is the via negativa. By if you are diligently cultivating, you won't be causing more afflictions. Which is, it's not that you're helping them, it's that you're not obstructing them, which is clear seeing about the way we mostly do it, right? It's like to think, not only are we not helping each other, we're out and out causing afflictions in each other. And number two was that, say again? Yeah, facilitating, by making it possible for people to do the various things that you do, planning blessings, by supporting the Sangha, meditating and cultivating wisdom. Great. Okay, nobody, no? Uh-huh.
Because you're willing to go allow others to reach the finish line before you will.
Mm.
So I think in that sense there is a kindness in there somewhere.
Beautiful. So kindness in the bodhisattvas, allowing people to go first. What makes you think so? Sucker. I'm going to grab for all the gusto I can. No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't do that.
I'm trying to get a bonus point.
Bonus point. You can get bonus. Right. So nobody mentioned transference. And the problem with saying transference is we still don't know how it works. It's still mysterious, but that is a way you cross from here to here. Transference, also called dedication. Sanskrit is parinamana, to carry across. We have in our practice kit, in our medicine kit of practices, this vow of samantabhadra, which is universally transferring merit and virtue. And when you saw what Master Hua actually did, he was transferring merit all the time. He really used that method, as best I know from what I was watching him. I didn't say, Sherpa, what are you doing? No, but it seemed like he was at all times cultivating and giving it away. It's like working all the time, transferring merit, so that others could get the benefit. Now, the question that comes to my mind is, how does that work? Because I'm I characterize Nam as being a hands-on guy, a builder. And I want to know. I believe it works. And it may work because of the interdependence. The fact that I perceive that this is me. I stop here and you're there. But from another point of view, a deeper perspective, maybe we really are entirely in touch with each other all the time. That minds do touch in space. And if our minds do touch, and I'm using that connection to constantly broadcast all the goodness that I could own. You say, I give all of this away. I want others to get it. You give with your mind. Maybe that works. What are we doing in Christmas? We're giving gifts. This is the gift season in the West. Lots of gifts. You don't want to leave anybody off. And these Christmas gifts matter a lot. Here are, in the story, the three kings who are, I was reading the other day, were there three? Were they kings? Did they look for a stable? Et cetera, et cetera. Were they following a star? All this stuff. The story goes, they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the Christ child in the manger. That's the story, based on giving. So we're already exchanging stuff, giving. What about if we give invisible stuff? And, as Yuan Lin says, stop giving the nasty stuff. Let go of the troubling of each other that we do and the irritating of each other that we do and the deliberately afflicting that we do of each other. And instead just say, no, may you become a Buddha first. May all your fears be wiped away. May your worries and doubts vanish and turn to courage and conviction. Right? All the things that you can transfer merit. May your wisdom grow like an apple on the tree. May your blessings come full. May you be wise, peaceful, and happy. Right? Boy, I will tell you, teaching meditation for musicians to a room full of folks from North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, folks who ordinarily would look at a Buddhist monk from California and go, I don't know if I want to sit in the same room with that weirdo, right? But I'm going with this breath, exhale, may you be peaceful. Contemplate the direction in front of you as far as your mind can carry. With this breath, may you be free of trouble. And having these people at the end of the class say, that was the best meditation I ever had. Thank you so much. You know, I'm just so pleased that I could be part of this circle. That was powerful. You know, how is it different from your regular meditation? Well, we do a different kind back on the ranch at home in the farm. We do, you know, these guys in overalls, you know, and straw hats are doing meditation with their entire family. You know, it's a different world. So, when you can do that metta bhavana, that loving kindness meditation, things change. So, maybe that's how transference works. Using your mind like a radio beacon to that place where we all touch. It sure beats sending out hate and fear. So, those are good answers. Thank you for sharing those thoughts. He diligently cultivates for the sake of others because he wants them to enter nirvana. How does he do that? Interesting. Okay, one more here, and then we'll move away here. What is it? It says, 名为亲求不懈者，求如来力无畏不公法故. He is called one who diligently seeks without laziness because he hopes to accomplish, the powers, fearlessnesses, and uncommon dharmas of a Tathagata. Buddhas have these three qualities that are one of these lists. This is one of the lists that occurs in the Mahayana. What is it? It's called Li Wu Wei Bu Gong Fa. The powers, the strengths, the fearlessnesses, and the dharmas that don't get shared in common. How interesting is that, right? When you become a Buddha, these qualities arise. They're yours to use. 10 powers. We've gone over them a bunch. These are the same ones that come up chapter after chapter in the Avatamsaka. They're tools for teaching. There are 4 kinds of fearlessness here, different from the list of 5 that occurs in the first ground. These are things like fearlessness in speaking Dharma. You can tell the truth and you're not afraid of it, of saying what's really true. And most of us can't hear completely what's really true because it's too scary. The Buddha is unafraid of telling those things. Then the unshared dharmas, there are 18 of them. What a funny list. There are 18 special dharmas unique to a Buddha that bodhisattvas don't have. Only Buddhas have these 18. And I don't have my list with me, and I can't pull it out of space. But I've tracked them in the past, and it's an interesting bunch of special qualities that Buddhas have. And these 3 things, the powers, the fearlessnesses, the courages, and the special dharmas, uncommon Buddha dharmas, unshared dharmas, are all unique to Buddhahood. And when you become a Buddha, they're yours. They're in the nature, but waiting for that last step before they arise. Okay? How about that? All right. We're going to pick up there next Saturday. And let's do a song. Can you turn to page 46? All this talk of karma and how does it work brought this to mind. Wise ones know we plant a seed with every word and deed. Once we plant it, here comes karma now. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, makes us happy, makes us sad. Choose it wisely, here comes karma now. Karma is not heaven sent, karma is not punishment. Sweep the garden, here comes karma now. Weed the garden, be better. There's no lawyer you can call, the judge and the jury had left the hall. Learn the rules, use good sense, this is cause and consequence. Like the seed is the fruit. If you know the leaf, you'll know the root. Can't argue, here comes karma now. But what about transference, Dharma Master? Conscience is a quiet voice. Pay your money, take your choice. It's your harvest, here comes karma now. It's not other people's harvest, that's the question. How does that work? It's not luck, it's not fate. No room to negotiate. No fooling, here comes karma now. Plays no favorites, here's no lies. Doesn't truck with alibis. You can threaten, you can curse, you can't wire the universe. Some are careful with the roots. They're contented with the fruits. Plant and harvest, here comes karma now. Others, on the other hand, are careless at the start and at the end a broken heart. No excuses, here comes karma now. You can smile till it hurts. Help yourself to just desserts. Pay the piper, here comes karma now. You can blame the scapegoat, cry and wail. Ask the woman with the scales. Blind justice tells no tale. Who goes free, who goes to jail? There ain't no lawyer who gets away. Ain't no fixer you can pay. Just like magic, here comes karma now. Just like magic, here comes karma now. Of course, it's not magic at all. Just like magic, here comes karma now. Funny, revisiting these old songs, I would change it a lot now. It's funny. I guess there's a living thing, so you keep on improving it. So a bunch of words should be changed in that one. But the principle is still the same, introducing the notion that it's not luck and it's not fate. I'm going to be, strangely enough, in Australia within, today's 21, wow, less than 10 days. And when I meet my new class of students at Bond University, that's the first question is, who's in charge of your life? It's not luck, it's not fate, it's not destiny. Who's in charge of your life? Is it God's will? Does God have a big computer and He knows what's happening? Or is it cause and effect? And for a lot of these folks, it's the first time those gears have actually turned in a way that they could identify related to their actual situation. So it's really fun to see what answers they get. And the papers at the end of the semester, a lot of them say, that first class, somehow, that was the high point. It never improved after that, Dharma Master, but at least that part was good. So. So, we can transfer the merit, by golly, powerful Dharma. And keep in mind the folks who are still missing after tropical storm Haiyan came through the Philippines. We seem to be between major climactic disasters at the moment. And may the holiday seasons be a time of blessings for as many people as possible. Southern Sudan is in the middle of a civil war. The Central Republic of Africa is going through miseries. But Europe has no land wars at the moment, which is special, because that often is the place where we seem to be determined to fight with each other. There are things turning in America. The drug war is coming into focus as 2 states have legalized marijuana, Colorado and Washington State, and January 1st, I think, is when it actually takes place. That's a big change. And if America's insane incarceration rate could fall because drug offenders would not have their lives end because of 2 joints, that would be a big difference. So, transfer where you would like your merit to go, and do it with a wish, using that connection. And may your holidays be blessed, full of light, peace and joy. Our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward, may all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Right. Now, meanwhile, before you put that songbook away, we're studying the, I know, yeah. We're on the 5th ground, which is Samadhi, so we'll do Samadhi shoes next time. This is page 44. Since we have another week of the Amitabha session going on at CTTB, followed by 3 weeks of Chan, it's nice to shift some of our focus up north. And it's cold in the winter. CTDB is a large space, and if you go up to that campus in the winter when the sessions are going on, you can wonder, where'd everybody go, right? You don't see anyone, and it seems mighty cold and quiet and dark up there, yinny, right? And then you set foot in the Chan Hall or the Buddha Hall, and suddenly it comes alive. And you realize, oh, this is where the warmth is, and it's where people are practicing, where they're cultivating. Sometimes you can look out at the world where everyone is striving for profit and competing with each other. Even religions that should be sources of well-being seem to be intent on eradicating anything that's different. And from that perspective, cultivation of the Buddha Dharma is bright light in the world. And CTTB is one place where that light shines brightly. So this is a song that I wrote while bowing to the city of 10,000 Buddhas. And you can join in. The chorus goes, to the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. Tom Paxton wrote a song called I Can't Help But Wonder, and this is that melody. So join in if you know it. Don't have to wait for the chorus. You can join in on the verses. It's a long and dusty road. It's a hot and heavy load. Folks that I meet ain't always kind. They aren't bad, they aren't good. They just do the best they could. Some of them try to ease our troubling mind. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. Do it again. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. Had a life and it was fine, lots of friends and fancy wine. Spent my blessings till I went insane. But I was too blind to see they were all afflicting me. Good times are just another kind of pain. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. There's a good and wise advisor who will lead you to the way in the Golden Mountain by the San Francisco Bay. And sometimes when the bowing's true, his light comes shining through. His kindness isn't easy to repay. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. If you see us bowing by, don't just sit and wonder why, wishing you could be a Buddhist too. You can do what's hard to do, drop the false and find the true. The Buddha nature dwells inside of all of us. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. To the city of the Buddhas we are bowing, bowing down. To the city of the Buddhas we are bound. One more. To the city of... That's not what I meant, Dharma meant. Okay, page 18. Why not? On the same theme. I think it's the same key. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. You know what to do. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It started with a vow to bring enlightenment to every living being. From the sage who brought the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha to America to build a new foundation. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Can't hear you singing. It's founded on a vision of the proper Dharma flourishing again. It's a place for cultivation. It's a place of transformation of the common one to a bodhisattva. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. The city's home to Guanyin Bodhisattva, compassionate, enlightened one who contemplates the sounds of living beings. With 1,000 eyes to see them and 1,000 ears to hear them, and 1,000 hands to rescue them from suffering. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. That's better. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Instilling virtue in the children, filiality is number one. They will vow to get enlightened, to repay their parents' kindness, to repay the great compassion of the Buddha. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It starts with care for aging people, filial behavior in the home. When the family is happy, then the cities will be peaceful, and the nations and the worlds will come together. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Enlightened to the Buddha nature, perfect and complete in everyone. He's the sage who vowed to save us, to show the road to wisdom, to return the light, wake up Turtle Mountain. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Making Buddhas, bodhisattvas, sages from the likes of you and me. And the virtue of our teacher turns our greed, hate, and delusion into precepts and samadhi and to wisdom. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. It's called the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Yep. One more. No. Encore. Okay. An announcement, which is one mind. How profound, right? So, One Mind is the name of a film which is created by a man named Ted Berger, Edward A. Berger. And Ted put together a movie called Amongst White Clouds. Some of you saw that when it was out years ago. And in Amongst White Clouds, Ted went with his camera where Red Pine, Bill Porter, went with his book called Amongst White Clouds. about the hermits at Zhongnanshan in China, the Buddhist hermits who live out by themselves in the wilderness and cultivate the way. It was a very sympathetic, insightful, sensitively done film, and a lot of people wondered what happened to Ted Berger, and the answer was he took his camera and went to another sacred mountain called Yunju Shan, Cloud Dwelling Mountain, Zhenru Si, which is the monastery of Master Shuyan. Master Shuyan had many monasteries. This is the last one. This is where he entered nirvana. And our teacher has been there, and I have been there, and it's one of our home bases in our tradition. So Ted went there with his camera, and the monks welcomed him. He lived there for months and got their confidence and made a beautiful homage to Zhenru Si, True Suchness Monastery. The film is mostly wordless. It's just mostly pictures. He uses cinematography to tell the story of how a community works together to support the Chan Hall, essentially. There are people who live in the Chan Hall at Zhenru Si year-round. They come out on a Sunday afternoon to walk around the lake. They go back in. And they eat there, live there, sleep there, meditate there. And the rest of the community are farmers. Half the day, meditators half the day, to support the Chan Hall. It's a traditional Chan monastery in the best Chinese tradition. And Ted shows the story. It's a beautiful film. It's not finished yet. He's got all the footage done. He's editing it, and he needs money to make it happen. It's a Kickstarter, actually Indiegogo campaign that has got another month to run. And here on this this one sheet tells you the story, how to find it on the website. We have flyers outside. And ordinarily, we would not be flacking a commercial venture, but he's making this film purely because he thinks it's a story worth telling. Not going to get rich this way. So if anybody is interested in finding out more and seeing how they can spread the word, if you don't have any interest in supporting it financially, tell your friends. This is a wonderful vision. And Dharma Realm Buddhist University and the Institute for World Religions are about fostering this kind of vision of people who say, there's a story we need to hear about. I want to tell it. Whether it's in plastic arts like pottery, whether it's in solo piano music, whether it's in filmmaking, whether it's in architecture, dance, art, two-dimensional art, whatever it is, ways that people bring us back to our nature and tell the stories of people who are doing that, we support. So that's why I wanted to tell people about it. Please do get a look. And the trailer is out. So if you go to Vimeo and type in One Mind, or better yet, go to his website, which you'll find let's see, the trailer is at Vimeo, Edward A. Berger, EDWARDABURGER, one word, Edward A. Berger /One Mind, one word, ONEMIND. That's where you'll find the trailer. And take a look. The images that come out of Zhenru Si right now are brilliant. It's alive and real. And it could be the Tang Dynasty when you see it. It's pretty much unchanged from the Tang Dynasty to today. And that spirit is right there. It's a beautiful mountain, misty, very cloud dwelling is a good name. Yunji, the clouds dwell on that mountain. Beautiful. So, just to let you know, Amitabha session happening at City of 10,000 Buddhas, moving towards a Chan session. This week is a quiet week at Berkeley Monastery. Thursday night is still happening. Daily meditations are still happening. This lecture will be in full session next Saturday. We'll be here and looking forward to finding out about our bodhisattva. What else is he called? What else is she called? All these names. Anything more to announce? Roundtable Thursday night, 7:30. Master Jin Chuan and Jin He will be featured in the roundtable. And since I know school is out, you have no excuse for not coming. See you there Thursday night. 师道之进，非道之退，在善而从，不善而改. See you next week. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Namo Da Fang Guang Fu Hua Yin Jin Hua Yin Hai Ho Pu Sai